Hello, this training video is going to show you how to add a markup or a margin to a customer. First, let's go to Customers and select Companies, and we're going to create the margin from the customer directly. Let's go ahead and select a customer. I'm going to go ahead and go with Apex United here. So I'm going to click on the ID number next to the profile. That'll take me into the customer's profile. Now right here under the margin section, you're going to notice I actually already have a margin set up. We're just going to go ahead and add another one. To add a markup or margin, you just go to Customer Tools, and then you go to Margins Create. This will take you right into the Create Margin section and preload some information for you. For example, we already have the customer selected. We have the mode set to any, so this markup or margin will affect all modes of transportation, but you can definitely select LTL, truckload, and so on. I'm going to leave it set to any. Status is active, effective date is today, and the expiration date is in 2028. Now, one way you can use effective dates and expiration dates is, let's say you bring on a new customer, you can start them off with a really high discount, maybe and only a 10% markup. Then set the expiration date to expire in a month and create another margin that'll take effect for the next month, and the markup increases. So that's why you can kind of slowly, incrementally increase your markup. Okay. And next we come to the detail type. So you might have noticed I've already said markup and margin. The reason I say both is because you can actually apply both to a customer. Under detail type, it's going to show you the different options by which you can mark up a customer. You can do a margin percentage, a markup percentage, by pieces, a flat dollar markup, or a cost per hundredweight. The most popular two to choose are markup percentage and margin percentage. Now there is a big difference between markup percentage and margin percentage. If you choose to do a markup percentage, and let's say you do a 30% markup, what will happen is, let's say the freight comes out to $100, the system will just mark up the freight by 30%. So it'll mark up that $100 by 30%. Whereas if you use the margin percentage, what the system will do is mark up the freight to whatever amount it needs to be to achieve a 30% margin or a 30% profit. So that's the difference between the two. Now, of course, you can also use the other options, the cost per hundredweight, flat if you just want to add a flat dollar amount, and then pieces. For this example, we'll stick with a markup percentage. For the fee type, this is just simply a way for you to label the type of markup or margin you're adding. This won't display to the customer. This is just for internal purposes only. Next, we have the minimum and maximum. So you can enter in dollar amounts here, so you always achieve a certain amount and you don't max out at a certain amount. Then you have different criteria. You have a cost criteria, weight, handling unit, and average class. So let's say you only want this 30% markup to take effect when the shipment weighs a certain amount. Let's say between 100 and 199 pounds. So you can enter that and click on the check mark. Then you can click on Add Detail, and you can do another markup to take effect if the freight weighs between 200 and 299 pounds. So in this scenario, I'm doing like a weight break markup. But you can also do it by cost criteria, handling units, or average class. So you can get very complex with your markups. Okay. Once you enter the detail, just go to the top here and click on Save and Add Details. Then you can click on Save Margin one more time, and that should save it completely. And now those markups have been added. To view these markups in the customer profile, just simply navigate to Customers and click on Companies. We go to Apex United, and then you're going to see these markups listed here. Now, one thing I'll mention here in the margin section is only showing you the first margin. Since I created more than one in that specific margin profile, it's only going to show me the first one here. So if you want to see detailed information on all the markups, go to Customer Tools, and then select Margin Search. So we'll search for all the markups for this customer. You see the first one I see listed here, and then click on the pencil next to the margin, and then you can see all of the details for that margin markup. Okay. Now the way I got to this page, I just went to Customers and Company, clicked on the company profile, and went over to Customer Tools, and then went to Margins Create. There's another way to access that page by going through the main menu. Just go to Rates and go to Margins. This will take you to the Margins page, which will show you all of your margins and markups you have for all of your customers. And from here, you can create new margins. Just click on Add New Margin to the top right. The only difference from doing it from this page is that you do have to select the customer from the list here. And then after that, it's pretty much the same thing, entering the information. but you can definitely go to rates and margins, view all your margins and markups from here, and create new margins as well. And that is how you add a markup or margin to a customer. I definitely recommend that after you add the markup or margin, just test it out, go into your back office, generate some rates. If you're going to give this to if you're giving access to your customer to use the customer portal, log in as the customer first to make sure the markup and margin is acting the way you're predicting it to act. Just make sure it's working correctly. And I definitely recommend that before you give out the username and password to your customer. But if you have any questions, please contact IT support or view our other training videos. Thank you.